Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Ashton. This is the look that I'm doing today. Really loved it. Loved doing it and I love how it turned out. I think it is gorgeous. But anyways, if you want to see how to do it, continue watching. Alright, so I'm going to start off by using the Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation, but I'm not using this as my foundation just yet. I am using it as my eyeshadow base. This is a super good eyeshadow base because it doesn't crease or anything once you put it on the eye and set it. I'm going to be using probably about three eyeshadow palettes today as well. So I'm just putting this under my eye. And I haven't done my eyebrows yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and just I'm doing a patting motion. I'm just kind of patting this under my eyebrow and blending it onto my eyelid. This foundation makes a really good eyeshadow base because it doesn't crease and it dries down by itself. And that's what I like about it. So I'm gonna do the same to the other eye. I rarely ever use eyeshadow primers. I honestly just use concealers and foundations for my eyeshadow bases. Alright, so after I have that down, I'm going to pull out my beauty blender, or not my beauty blender, but my makeup sponge, and I'm just going to use it to pat this down into the skin. So today, I'm going to try to do a blue, kind of smoky eye. So we're going to see how that goes. I'm going to be using BH Cosmetics Trendy in Tokyo. Also, I'm going to be using At Forest Sight by ColourPop. This is ColourPop and Raw Beauty Christie's eyeshadow palette they did together. I love Raw Beauty Christie. She's just, love her. So, and then I might be using my Makeup Revolution Constellation palette. But other than that, I think that's all. And if I add any extra eyeshadow palettes, obviously I will tell you. So I'm going to start off with the Trendy in Tokyo palette by BH Cosmetics. Look at this palette. Isn't that gorgeous? I'm going to be starting off with this blue right here. And I'm just going to use a small blending brush. This one is from a Profusion palette that I bought. So I'm just going to pack it onto my brush. And then pack it onto my crease. And for initial color, I use a patting motion and not sweeping, just so I can go ahead and get the shape and the pigmentation that I want on my eye. And I also do my eyes first whenever I do bold eyeshadow looks like this because I get a lot of fallout. And I don't want to ruin my face makeup from that. And I'm just pulling this all the way over to my inner corner. Just like that. Gonna do the same to the other eye now. And I'm just using the mirror from this eyeshadow palette to do my eyeshadow. So that's the initial shape that I want. I'm using my color changer. I got this from Dollar Tree because I'm not gonna pay $20 for something to rub my brushes in when it literally performs the same for $1 from Dollar Tree. So, but I love using this because it cleans your brushes without using soap and it takes off all the eyeshadow just like it just did. So with this clean brush, I'm going to diffuse the edges of this eyeshadow. I'm not taking any other color. I'm just kind of running my brush along the edge of this color to blend it out. And after I do that, you can see that there's kind of a streak right there. I'm just going to take just a tiny bit of color and kind of go back over this area. And I also kind of notice here that it looks just a tiny bit muddy. So I'm just going to take this blue. I'm going to pack on my brush again and just use this to kind of put that blue back in so it's not as muddy. But now it's not muddy anymore. So now it's diffused and blended out right there and it's not a harsh line. Not a harsh line. Alright. So that is the first color that I'm going to use. Okay, so I have actually decided to add 2 more palettes. First one being the NYX Ultimate Edit palette. This is the Brights, and I'm really just using that blue right there. And then I'm also gonna add the Morphe Icy Fantasy palette, so I can use this really pastel blue real quick to help blend out the edge of this blue. And it's just a really, really pastel blue. So we're going to use it up here on the edge of this just to see if it'll help diffuse it a little bit. Again, I'm also going to take this brush back through the color changer just to get rid of that. And I'm going to blend out the edge real quick. And I'm just not going to look in the mirror, and I'm just going to kind of do it. That looks how I want it to look. And then I'm done with the Morphe palette. So next I'm going to use the NYX palette that I just added, and I'm going to be using the blue out of this. It doesn't have a name, it's just blue. And I'm going to be using kind of a bigger blending brush, about this size, and this is from, I think, an Urban Decay eyeshadow palette. So we're just going to put a bunch of this blue on my brush, kind of like that, and use it on my eye. I'm mostly focusing this in the crease, but I'm taking it all the way over. I'm going to go back into the BH Cosmetics palette, and the color that I've been using is called Fortune. And I'm just going to go back into that color just a tiny bit and use it to blend out the edge from this color to that NYX blue. And I'm also just going to use this to kind of blend out the streakiness in this blue, because this blue does tend to be just a tiny bit streaky, patchy. So let me get that. So that's blended out, and I think I'm not going to use the Revolution palette, but I am going to use the Raw Beauty Christie and the ColourPop palette, and I'm using this blue, which is PNW, and I don't know what PNW is, but that's what the color we're going to use. And I'm going to use the same blending brush here. Actually, no. I'm going to use the smaller blending brush. And I'm just going to dip into that color. And it is a really, really dark blue. Dark teal. And I'm mostly going to focus it towards the outer corner. But I'm also going to pull it into the crease. And just so it's easier to blend, I'm also going to run this brush back through the color changer one last time. Actually, it's probably a lie, because it'll probably be in there a few more times. And I'm just going to use this brush again to blend out this dark teal. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous color. I love this color so much. And I love the eyeshadow palette. Those are like my favorite kind of colors, like muted colors like that. It's so pretty. I don't know if you can see how it's kind of streaking like that. It's kind of a little pointy. But I don't think it's this color or the formula. I think it's the one that's under it. So the NYX color, I think it's the NYX blue that's doing it. Alright, so this blue is blended out to how I want it. And now we're going to do a cut crease. And I'm just going to use the Revolution foundation again for the cut crease. So I'm just going to stamp just a little bit on my hand. And I'm using a little tiny little flat brush for this. And I'm actually pretty nervous. But it's fun. I haven't done a cut crease in so long. Okay, and I'm just gonna use my finger to kind of press the top of that. Just so it's not super wet. And I'm gonna do the other eye. It's very hard to talk while I'm doing this because I'm scared I'm gonna mess it up. Press on that one again, and I'm actually gonna go back over this one over here because it's a little patchy for some reason. Alright. Okay, so I'm gonna go back into the ColourPop palette in that P&W color. And I'm going to use the little blending brush that I've been using. And I'm going to blend out this edge here. Alright, the edge is blended out. And I think I'm going to use this shimmer right here, which is called Lively, as the shimmer for the lid. And I'm just going to use another flat brush. I'm just going to pack this on my brush real quick. Let me make sure this looks good. Maybe. We'll see. Hope so. And we're going to pack it right there. And I'm just gonna use my finger and the excess eyeshadow on this little blending brush to kind of blend out that edge. So it's not super harsh. And I do like this. I'm also gonna actually go back into the Icy Fantasy palette because there are shimmers here that look white, but you can put them on top of different eyeshadows. So like this one here, as you can see, it's kind of got a blue pearlescent kind of shimmer to it. I'm going to pop it on top of this with the same flat brush. And we're going to see what that does. So I'm just loading my brush up with that. And it looks white, but you can put it on top of eyeshadows and it doesn't make them look white. So we're going to put that on top of this blue here. Oh, I like it so much better now. Ooh, that's so pretty. That looks so good. Oh, that's so pretty. That looks really good. Okay. Alright. So, now I think I'm gonna do fake eyelashes. And I haven't done fake eyelashes in a long time, so we're gonna see how that goes. And I'm just using an Eyelure latex-free eyelash glue. And I got this eyelash glue with a pair of eyelashes that I got before, but I don't know where those eyelashes went. And I wish I did because I really like those. I'm going to pull up my eyelash curlers and I'm going to curl my eyelashes. And I'm going to put on just a little bit of mascara. I'm using the Trestique Good Vibes mascara. And this is a lash curler, which is pretty cool. So we're going to use this mascara here, and I'm just going to put on a little bit of a little coat of it, and I'm just using a mirror. Now this eye, I really like this mascara. It's so pretty. I usually, whenever I wear this mascara by itself, I put on a lot more mascara than this, but since I'm putting on lashes, it doesn't really matter. I have these really pointy tweezers that I use to put on lashes with. So, I'm just gonna pop them on. There's one. Alright, so now I'm gonna do my face makeup. And I'm gonna be using the Yenza Tone Up Primer Essential Glow. And this is just a really glowy primer. And it also fills the pores as well. It's also moisturizing. So I have been using this primer a lot more recently just because I've noticed that my face has been really dry. Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Full Coverage Foundation. I use the color F2, which is I think the second lightest. And so it's very full coverage. But I usually really do not like full coverage foundations. I usually use a tinted moisturizer or a very low coverage foundation. But this foundation is beautiful. It does not feel heavy at all. It does not feel heavy at all on the skin. It lasts such a long time as well. And I'm just going to use my makeup sponge to blend this out with. I just kind of blend it out just all over my face. I don't really have a rhyme or reason about blending it out. I just blend it out. Blend it just a tiny bit down my neck. Now I'm doing my forehead. Alright. All blended out. So next I'm gonna use my e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. And I'm just using a tiny bit under my eyes because this is a little warmer and my dark circles are cool, so it's gonna neutralize it. Okay. So now I'm gonna set my face, and I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Fit Me. This is the pressed powder, and this is in the color 100 translucent. So I'm just gonna use a small brush first, set under my eyes, just to make sure that I get it under there. And then I'm just gonna switch to a bigger brush and just kind of powder all over. I'm also gonna go ahead and do my eyebrows. I'm using the e.l.f. Instant Lift Brow Pencil, and I'm just brushing up my eyebrows first. And then I'm just gonna fill in my eyebrows. I don't really do any hair-like strokes or anything because my eyebrows are already pretty thick, and I just use this to kind of just fill them in, just so they look a tiny bit more presentable, but my eyebrows are very, very full already. Okay, and then I'm using the e.l.f. Wow Brow in the color, my brow pencil is in the color taupe, and my Wow Brow is in the color neutral brown. And this color is the exact same color as my eyebrow hairs. My brow pencil is like a shade lighter than my brows, and my, I guess you would call this like a brow gel or something like that, I don't know, is the same color as my hairs. So now I'm gonna go ahead and do my under eye eyeshadow, and I'm gonna start with the darkest color that we did, which was the P&W from the Raw Beauty Kristi and ColourPop palette. I'm just using the tiny blending brush for it. I really don't want to do too much on the under eye. Now to the other eye. Next, I'm just gonna go into this color here from the BH palette. I'm not gonna worry about the other colors. I'm just gonna use that darkest one and the lightest one. I'm gonna go back into the smaller eyeshadow brush actually, because that big one's kind of hard to get it in such a small area and have it look good. So, and I'm really just kind of taking this lighter color and putting it on top of the darker color, so it'll help it blend out. So this is the eyeshadow done, and now I'm gonna contour and bronze. I'm gonna use my Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer, and I'm just kind of using a brush kind of shaped like this to do it. And I don't put it right here where that line is, I put it on my cheekbones just because I feel like it lifts my face up a tiny bit, and I just like how it looks. Obviously, do what you want. You do not have to, you know, take what I say, because maybe your face looks good with it right there. I personally just like having my bronzer up a little bit higher on my jawline, right there, just to give my jaw just a little bit of a softer look. On my chin, kind of like that. Gonna contour my nose. Like that. And do my forehead. And then I've been taking some and putting it right there on my forehead and my temple as well. Just blend that out. Alright, next is blush, one of my favorite things today. I love blush, I don't know why, but I do. So I'm using Lovecraft Beauty's Blush Trio. And I think I'm going to use Australia. I don't know how to say that. Anyway, so I'm just using a little brush, dipping into it just a couple times and putting it on here. And then taking the excess just on the apples of my cheeks. Taking a tiny bit on my nose. A little bit on my chin, a little bit on my forehead. Next is highlight. And I am just using the Makeup Revolution and Soph highlighting palette. And I'm gonna use I think I'm gonna use the white. I rarely ever use it, and it's only like that because it's broken. Like, I rarely ever use it, so we're gonna use it today. I'm gonna use it on the inner corner here. Okay, and next I'm just using my regular highlighting brush. Highlight. I'm just scared to use a lot because I don't want it to be super duper bright. Well, it's a really pretty highlight. Super pretty. On my nose, on the tip of my nose, bridge of my nose, and then right above my eyebrow right there at the very front. Put a tiny bit more on my cheekbones and just a little bit more on my nose. Alright, next I'm going to do lips. I'm going to first use this Avon Glimmer Sticks lip liner in the color Mystery Mauve. First, actually, I'm going to put on a little bit of lip balm first. And then I'm going to go in with the lip liner. Just line my lips. I don't overline my bottom lips, but I do overline my top lips. And I'm not filling in my whole lip, but I'm just kind of gonna blend it out with my finger. Okay, so on the top lip, gonna draw it like that, and then sorry, I just blocked that whole thing. I'm so sorry. And then I kind of just draw. And that's really how much I overline. I don't overline it terribly. And then I'm just gonna kind of... Next I'm gonna use the Betty Boop and Ipsy lipstick. This is in the color Mauve It, baby. And these colors are pretty much the same. They're pretty much the same, and they're from two completely different companies. So I'm just gonna use this lipstick. Okay, and this is the finished look. Thank you so much for watching my video, and if you liked it, please leave a like, subscribe for more content like this. I do makeup, strictly makeup. I don't know if I'm gonna do anything else, but so far it's strictly makeup. So yeah, thank you again for watching my video, and I hope to see you guys in the next one. Bye!